When I started, I had no money. In fact, we barely had internet in China, but I had something more valuable, a vision. I realized that the richest people in the world don't chase money, they chase value. Money is just a reflection of the impact you create. If you truly want to be successful, stop asking, how can I make money? And start asking, how can I solve problems? Money is not the goal, it's the result. At the beginning of Alibaba, we had no investors. I had no technology, I didn't know how to code. But I knew that small businesses in China needed a way to sell their products to the world. That was the problem I wanted to solve. And that's how we created a marketplace that, years later, would handle trillions of dollars. If I had only chased money, I would have given up in the early years. But because I chased value, the reward came naturally. People think they need capital to start a business, but what they really need is purpose. When you create something that helps people, money follows. Look at Apple, Tesla, Google. All these companies solved major problems before they became giants. You might be thinking, but I'm not a big entrepreneur. That's okay. Creating value doesn't mean building an empire. It means identifying how you can improve people's lives around you. Think about any profession: doctors, engineers, teachers. Who are the highest paid? Those who deliver the greatest value. If you want to build wealth, ask yourself daily, what can I do today to make someone's life better? This applies to your career, your business, and even your relationships. The world pays well to those who solve problems and ignores those who only chase money. If you still don't believe it, think of the most influential billionaires in the world. None of them started by asking, how can I get rich? They all began by solving a real problem. Money is smart. It chases those who create value. Now the question is, are you creating something that money wants to chase? Many people ask me, Jack Ma, what is the most valuable asset for building success? And I always answer, it's not money, it's not connections, it's time. Lost money can be recovered, a business can be rebuilt, but a wasted day never comes back. When I was young, I spent years trying to learn English because I knew it would change my future. But I never waited for the right moment. I took every opportunity, even talking to tourists in my free time. The biggest mistake people make is living on autopilot, wasting years without learning anything new. Many think they are busy, but being busy is not the same as being productive. You can spend the entire day answering emails, scrolling through social media, or reading news. But at the end of the day, have you actually built something for your future? Or have you just filled the time? The time you don't value will never bring you returns. When we started Alibaba, we knew that every minute counted. We worked day and night because we understood a simple truth. Time well spent multiplies results. If you spend your days just complaining, waiting for opportunities, or procrastinating, you will be in the exact same place 10 years from now. Now think, if you use that time to learn a new skill, build a project, or strengthen your network, where could you be? The truth is, most people underestimate the power of small daily efforts. If you dedicate just 30 minutes a day to learning something new, whether it's a language, technology, or business skills, in 1 year, you'll have 182 hours of learning. That can completely change your life. The problem is not a lack of time, it's a lack of prioritization. As I always say, if not now, when? If not me, who? So you have two choices: keep wasting your time on distractions or invest every minute in your growth. Time is ruthless, it will pass anyway. But the real question is it working for you or against you? When we started Alibaba, we had a small apartment, a team of friends, and a dream that seemed impossible. We had no money, no experience, no support, but we had a vision to connect small Chinese businesses to the world. And do you know what I learned? You never start big, but if you don't think big from the beginning, you will never grow. Most people wait for the right moment, the perfect investment. But success doesn't start with perfection, it starts with action. Many people tell me, Jack Ma, I want to be an entrepreneur, but I have no resources. And I always reply, great, that means you'll have to be creative. When you start small, every decision matters. You learn to fail fast, adjust quickly, and grow efficiently. That's how we built Alibaba. One step at a time, making mistakes, learning, and improving. We had no big investors, but we had persistence. And that is the key to turning something small into something extraordinary. The biggest mistake people make is waiting for ideal conditions. But look at the great companies. None of them started as giants. Jeff Bezos started Amazon selling books in a garage. Elon Musk almost went bankrupt multiple times before making Tesla a success. The problem is not starting small. The problem is not starting at all. If you have an idea, don't wait for the perfect moment. Start with what you have, where you are, and improve along the way. Many people constantly change their minds because they think success is about finding the perfect opportunity. But as I always say, if you want to catch the rabbit, don't change the rabbit, change yourself. The secret is not switching ideas all the time, it's focusing, adapting, and becoming good enough to make it work. Small daily actions create massive results over time. So if you're waiting for money, time, or a sign to start, stop. The biggest mistake is not taking action. Success is not a destination, it's a process. The only question that matters is, are you willing to take the first step? If there's one thing I've learned on my journey, it's that success doesn't belong to the smartest or the most talented, it belongs to those who refuse to give up. At the beginning of Alibaba, we faced so many difficulties that at times it seemed impossible to keep going. No bank wanted to finance us. Investors didn't believe in us. But I knew one thing. If we stopped, it would be over. If we kept going, we still had a chance. Most people give up too soon. They face obstacles and assume it means they're not good enough. But let me tell you a secret. Failure doesn't mean you've lost. It means you're still learning. When I applied for a job at KFC, 24 people interviewed. 23 were accepted. I was the only one rejected. But so what? If I had given up then, I would have never built anything. What separates winners from losers is not talent, it's persistence. The best athletes, entrepreneurs, and artists failed countless times before reaching the top, but they had one thing in common. They got up every time they fell. At Alibaba, we faced critical moments where it seemed we couldn't go on, but we always told ourselves, if we can last one more day, we have a chance to win. So the question is not whether you will fail, you will. The real question is, what will you do afterward? Will you stop, or will you get up and keep going? The world doesn't belong to the smartest. It belongs to those who, despite the difficulties, keep moving forward. Many people tell me, Jack Ma, I'm waiting for the perfect moment to start. And I always reply, then you will never start. When we founded Alibaba, China barely had internet. If I had waited for better conditions, we would have never created an empire. The truth is, there is no perfect moment. The best time to start is now. If you keep waiting for everything to be perfect, opportunities will pass you by. Most people spend years making plans but never take action. They want the right economy, the right contacts, the right skills. But the world doesn't reward those who wait. It rewards those who take the first step. Your first business won't be perfect. Your first idea won't be perfect. Your first attempt will likely fail. But if you don't start, you'll never get to the version that succeeds. In life, everything is uncertain. If you wait until you have all the answers, someone else will seize the opportunity before you. Success belongs to those who act despite uncertainty. Alibaba was built during a time when nobody believed e-commerce could work in China. If we had hesitated, another company would have taken our place. Opportunities are like trains. If you hesitate too long, they leave the station. People think they need complete knowledge before they begin. But look at the most successful people in the world. They didn't have all the answers when they started. They figured things out along the way. Elon Musk didn't know everything about rockets before launching SpaceX. Jeff Bezos didn't have all the knowledge before starting Amazon. They started, they adapted, and they grew. So ask yourself, are you waiting for the perfect moment, or are you ready to act? The only thing worse than failing is never trying. Success doesn't wait. If you don't take action today, a year from now, you'll still be in the same place, just older. So what are you waiting for? I failed so many times before building Alibaba that I lost count. I was rejected from jobs, turned down by investors, and laughed at when I shared my ideas. But do you know what I learned? Failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of the journey to success. The biggest mistake people make is thinking failure is a signal to stop. In reality, it's a lesson. When I applied for a job at KFC, 24 people interviewed, 23 were accepted. I was the only one rejected. I could have felt defeated, but I realized something. Failure didn't define me. How I responded to it did. Many people take rejection personally, but failure is not a sign that you should give up. It's a sign that you need to improve. Every rejection brings you closer to a better opportunity. Most people are afraid of failing because they fear what others will think. But successful people embrace failure because they know it's the best way to learn. If you look at the most successful entrepreneurs, they all failed multiple times. Steve Jobs was fired from his own company before returning to build the Apple we know today. Elon Musk had multiple failed companies before Tesla and SpaceX. The difference between winners and losers is that winners use failure as fuel. Failure teaches you what doesn't work. It forces you to adapt, to think differently, to grow. If you never fail, it means you are not trying anything big enough. The fastest way to succeed is to fail, learn, and improve. Every setback I faced made me stronger, sharper, and more prepared for the next challenge. So don't fear failure. Fear not learning from it. Ask yourself, are you avoiding failure or are you using it to build your success? The only real failure is giving up. Every no you receive is just one step closer to your yes. Most people enter business thinking only about making money, and that's why they fail. If you only focus on profits, you will never build something meaningful. Real entrepreneurs don't start businesses just to get rich. They start to solve problems. Alibaba was never about making billions. It was about helping small Chinese businesses connect with the world. Money follows purpose. People often ask me, Jack Ma, how do I make a lot of money fast? And I always tell them, wrong question. The right question is, how can I create something that truly helps others? The world's biggest companies didn't succeed because they wanted to make money. They succeeded because they solved real problems. Amazon made online shopping easier. Google made information accessible. Tesla pushed the world towards clean energy. They focused on impact, and the money followed. Entrepreneurship is about finding a need and serving it better than anyone else. If your goal is only to make money, you will give up when things get hard. But if you are driven by purpose, no challenge will stop you. Money is temporary. Purpose is what keeps you going when everything seems impossible. The biggest mistake people make is thinking money creates success. But the reality is the opposite. Success creates money. If you chase money, you will always be behind it. But if you chase value, money will chase you. That's why some businesses thrive while others disappear. Only those built on purpose survive. So stop asking, how can I get rich? And start asking, what problem can I solve that will make a difference? If you focus on that, you won't have to chase money. It will find you. Many young people focus only on how much they can earn in their first jobs. But if you work just for a paycheck, you are trading time for money instead of building a future. The smartest people don't choose jobs based on salary alone. They choose jobs that teach them valuable skills. What you learn is far more important than what you earn. When I was younger, I didn't aim for the highest paying job. I focused on gaining experiences that would help me grow. I worked as a teacher, which helped me develop communication skills. I learned from every challenge, every mistake, and every failure. If I had only focused on money, I would have never built Alibaba. The problem is that many people think short-term. They want quick money instead of long-term skills. But the people who truly succeed are those who invest in learning, networking, and gaining knowledge. The richest entrepreneurs today started by working in jobs that gave them experience. Jeff Bezos worked at a hedge fund before starting Amazon. Elon Musk worked in software before launching his companies. Every great success story begins with a phase of learning. Many people hate their jobs and only work for the paycheck. But if you shift your mindset and start treating your job as a place to learn, everything changes. Every company, every boss, every task can teach you something valuable. If you focus on building skills, opportunities will come naturally. Money follows those who know how to create value. So, are you working just to earn, or are you working to grow? The difference between those who struggle and those who succeed is simple. One sees their job as a paycheck, the other sees it as a stepping stone to a bigger future. Which one are you? Most people see problems and complain. Entrepreneurs see problems and ask, how can I solve this? The biggest businesses in the world were not created because someone wanted to get rich. They were created because someone saw a problem and found a solution. The secret to wealth is simple: solve real problems. When we started Alibaba, small businesses in China had no easy way to sell their products internationally. That was a huge problem, but also a huge opportunity. Instead of complaining, we built a platform to fix it. Today, that same problem we solved is worth trillions of dollars. Where most people saw obstacles, we saw a chance to create value. Think about Uber, it was created because taxis were unreliable. Think about Airbnb, it started because hotels were too expensive. Every major company you know today was built on solving an issue. The problem is, most people avoid problems instead of embracing them. They wait for perfect opportunities when, in reality, the best opportunities come disguised as difficulties. I always tell people, when you're poor, if you have a dream, you never feel poor. If you can see solutions instead of obstacles, you already have a billionaire mindset. The difference between struggling and succeeding is how you view problems. Are you running away from them, or are you turning them into opportunities? So next time you encounter a challenge, don't ask, why is this happening to me? Ask, how can I turn this into something valuable? Because that is the mindset that builds billionaires. When KFC arrived in China, I was one of 24 applicants who applied for a job. 23 were accepted. I was the only one rejected. Imagine that, even KFC didn't think I was good enough to serve chicken. Many people would have felt humiliated, discouraged, or even given up. But for me, that moment was one of my greatest life lessons. Rejection does not define you. How you respond to it does. The truth is, failure is one of life's best teachers. Most people avoid it, but I embrace it. Why? Because failure forces you to grow, adapt, and improve. If you never fail, it means you're not trying anything big enough. Failure is not the end of your journey. It is just one of the steps towards success. Look at history. The most successful people in the world failed more times than most people even try. I failed the university entrance exam twice before getting in. I applied to 30 different jobs and got rejected by all of them. I even tried to join the police force, but they told me I wasn't good enough. Did those rejections hurt? Of course. But did I let them stop me? Absolutely not. I kept moving forward. Every no I received only made me more determined. Every failure taught me something new. Most people quit after the first rejection, but winners keep going no matter what. They understand that setbacks are temporary, but quitting is permanent. The reason most people never achieve their dreams is not that they lack talent or intelligence. It's because they give up too soon. When Alibaba was struggling in its early days, I faced endless challenges. Investors turned us down. Banks refused to support us. People laughed at my vision. But I kept going because I knew, if we could survive just one more day, we had a chance to win. So the next time you face rejection, don't let it break you. Ask yourself, is this really the end? Or is it just another test to see how badly I want this? Because in life, it's not the smartest or the luckiest who succeed. It's those who refuse to give up. Most people only celebrate big achievements. They dream about making millions, becoming famous, or building a billion-dollar company. But they forget one crucial thing. Great success is built on small wins. If you don't learn to appreciate progress, you'll never reach your biggest goals. When we started Alibaba, we faced so many challenges that every small victory felt like a miracle. Sometimes it was something as simple as a new customer placing an order. Sometimes it was just making it through another day without giving up. We didn't wait to be successful to feel grateful. We were grateful along the way. And that mindset kept us moving forward. The problem with most people is that they are always looking ahead, chasing the next goal, the next achievement. And while ambition is important, if you never stop to appreciate what you've already accomplished, you will always feel like you're not good enough. Gratitude is what keeps you motivated and positive, even when things get tough. Some of the world's most successful people practice gratitude every day. They understand that no matter how big their goals are, every journey is made of small steps. If you can't appreciate the small progress you make today, you won't appreciate success when it comes. That's why so many people achieve their dreams and still feel empty. They spent their whole life chasing something bigger instead of valuing what they already had. So take a moment and ask yourself, what small win can I celebrate today? Maybe you learned something new. Maybe you improved a skill. Maybe you just didn't give up. Success is not a destination, it's a journey. And the people who enjoy the journey are the ones who reach the destination. We live in a world where everyone wants instant results. People want to get rich overnight, become famous instantly, or build a successful company in a few months. But real success takes time. The reason most people fail is that they think too short-term. They want fast success, and when they don't get it, they quit. When I started Alibaba, I knew we wouldn't succeed overnight. In fact, for the first few years, we struggled just to survive. But I always had a long-term vision. I wasn't building a company for 1 or 2 years. I was building something for the next 20, 30, or even 50 years. That's the mindset that separates winners from losers. If you look at the most successful businesses in the world, none of them were built in a day. Apple, Amazon, Tesla, they all started small and took decades to become giants. Even Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world, made 99% of his wealth after the age of 50. Why? Because he understood the power of long-term planning. The biggest mistake people make is giving up too soon. They start something, and when they don't see results immediately, they quit. But the truth is, the most successful people in the world are the ones who stick with their vision, even when progress is slow. They keep learning, keep improving, and keep working toward their long-term goals. So instead of asking, how can I succeed quickly? Ask yourself, where do I want to be in 10 or 20 years? Because the people who win in life are not the ones looking for shortcuts. They are the ones willing to put in the work and stay patient. Success is not a race, it's a marathon. Are you willing to keep running? Why? Many people think success is an individual achievement. They believe that if they work hard enough, they can succeed alone. But let me tell you something, no one succeeds alone. The most valuable asset in your life is not money, technology, or even ideas. It's people. At Alibaba, I was never the smartest person in the room. In fact, I often joke that if you put me in a room with 100 people, I am probably the least intelligent. But I knew how to build a strong team. I surrounded myself with people who were smarter than me in different areas. I valued them, I listened to them, and I empowered them to do great work. That is how Alibaba became a global success. The biggest mistake many people make is thinking they can do everything alone. But business is not about products, it's about people. It doesn't matter if you are starting a company, growing your career, or leading a project. If you don't know how to work with people, you will fail. If you don't know how to inspire, motivate, and support others, you will never build something great. Look at the most successful companies in the world. Do you think Jeff Bezos built Amazon alone? Do you think Elon Musk runs Tesla by himself? No. They built strong teams. They trusted people. They understood that success is never about one person. It's about the people who share the vision and make it a reality. So ask yourself, are you valuing the people around you? Are you building strong relationships? Are you helping others grow? Because the truth is, if you don't take care of your team, your business, or your relationships, you will always struggle. Success is not just about you, it's about the people you grow with. Many people think success is only about skills and hard work, but there is another factor that is just as important, your network. Who you know can open doors that no amount of money can. Your connections, relationships, and partnerships can shape your future more than any single skill. I was not born into wealth or power. I didn't have investors, government support, or family connections. But I understood one thing. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. From the early days of Alibaba, I focused on building relationships with people who shared my vision. I surrounded myself with people who could help me grow. Some of the biggest opportunities in my life came not from money, but from the right relationships. The best jobs, business deals, and investments happen because someone introduces you to the right person or recommends you for the right opportunity. That's why successful people don't just work hard, they build strong networks. Many people make the mistake of thinking networking is about asking for favors. But true networking is about giving, helping, and creating value. If you build real relationships, people will naturally want to help you succeed. They will introduce you to opportunities that you would never have found on your own. So, are you investing in your relationships? Are you building connections that will help you grow? Because in the end, your network is your net worth. The question is, are you surrounding yourself with people who push you forward or with people who hold you back? Most people believe that IQ, intelligence, is the most important factor for success. But let me tell you something, your ability to manage emotions, both yours and others, is far more important than how smart you are. The best leaders are not just intelligent, they have emotional intelligence, EQ. At Alibaba, I always looked for people with a high EQ. Why? Because business is about people. If you can't manage your emotions, if you can't handle stress, if you can't communicate well, then no amount of intelligence will help you succeed. The biggest mistake people make is believing that success is about talent alone. But I have seen incredibly smart people fail because they lacked emotional intelligence. They got angry too easily. They couldn't handle rejection. They let their ego destroy relationships. Success is not just about what you know. It's about how well you handle pressure, challenges, and people. Emotional intelligence means knowing how to stay calm in a crisis, motivate people when they are discouraged, and handle criticism without losing focus. It means understanding people's emotions and knowing how to respond effectively. The best leaders in the world, from Steve Jobs to Oprah Winfrey, all had high emotional intelligence. So ask yourself, are you developing your emotional intelligence? Can you control your emotions under pressure? Can you lead and inspire others? Because at the end of the day, your ability to manage emotions will determine how far you go. If there is one truth in life and business, it's this: everything changes. The world never stays the same. Technology evolves, industries transform, and the skills that made you successful yesterday might be useless tomorrow. The biggest reason people fail is not because they are not smart or talented. It's because they refuse to adapt. When I was growing up, China was completely different from today. The internet barely existed, and no one believed that e-commerce could work. If I had followed the safe path, I would have stuck to a traditional job, never questioning the future. But I embraced change instead of fearing it. That is the reason Alibaba exists today, because we saw an opportunity where others saw uncertainty. Most people fear change because it makes them uncomfortable. They want things to stay the same, to remain predictable. But think about this: the biggest companies in history that failed, Blockbuster, Kodak, Nokia, all had one thing in common. They refused to change. They were successful for years, but they ignored the signs that the world was moving forward. They thought their old methods would always work, and then one day, they were gone. The reality is, change is not your enemy, it is your biggest opportunity. The most successful people in the world are not the ones who resist change. They are the ones who embrace it, adapt quickly, and use it to their advantage. Think about companies like Amazon, Tesla, or Apple. Every time the world shifts, they reinvent themselves. That's why they continue to dominate. So let me ask you, are you embracing change, or are you running from it? If you don't evolve, you will be left behind. Your ability to adapt will determine your success. The next time you feel uncomfortable because things are shifting around you, don't panic. See it as an opportunity. The world belongs to those who are willing to grow, learn, and change. Many people think success is about how much money you make. But I have learned that true success is not measured by how much you take. It's measured by how much you give. The greatest leaders, entrepreneurs, and visionaries all understood one thing: the more you contribute to society, the greater your impact and legacy. When we built Alibaba, our goal was never just to make billions. We wanted to help small businesses in China compete globally. We saw millions of hardworking people struggling to reach customers beyond their local markets. Instead of just chasing profits, we created a platform that empowered them. That is why Alibaba became successful, because we focused on creating value for others. Think about the most admired people in history. Elon Musk isn't just rich. He is changing the future of energy and space travel. Bill Gates didn't stop at building Microsoft. He now dedicates his fortune to solving global health problems. The people who are remembered are not the ones who just made money. They are the ones who used their success to create a better world. The biggest mistake people make is thinking, I will give back once I am successful. But the truth is, giving back is what makes you successful in the first place. If you only focus on yourself, you will never build something that lasts. But if you focus on helping others grow, you will create something that stands the test of time. So ask yourself, what impact are you making? Are you just working for yourself? Or are you building something that will help others? Real success is not about how much you accumulate. It's about how much you contribute. Because at the end of the day, the most fulfilling thing you can do is not just to rise, but to help others rise with you.
Few people in the world have inspired as many entrepreneurs as Jack Ma, the visionary behind Alibaba. His journey from being rejected by 30 different jobs, including KFC, where 23 out of 24 applicants were hired except for him. To building a trillion-dollar company is proof that success is not about talent or luck. It's about mindset, resilience, and smart financial habits. But here's the hard truth. Most people will never achieve financial success. Why? Because they're stuck in bad financial habits that keep them broke, frustrated, and chasing money instead of creating wealth. If you're constantly struggling, always feeling like you're working hard but not getting ahead, it's not because you're unlucky. It's because you haven't broken the financial patterns that are holding you back. In this powerful talk, Jack Ma revealed the 8 financial habits that are silently keeping people from success. Habits that many don't even realize are destroying their potential. He didn't just talk about making money. He talked about building true wealth, creating value, and using time wisely. This isn't about quick fixes or overnight success. This is about the habits that separate the rich from the poor, the successful from the stuck, and the leaders from the followers. You'll discover why chasing money is the biggest mistake, why waiting for the perfect moment will keep you broke forever, and how billionaires think differently about failure, learning, and business. You'll learn the mindset shifts that help Jack Ma turn rejections, failures, and financial struggles into one of the biggest business empires in history. If you've ever felt like you're stuck in a cycle of financial frustration, this is the wake-up call you need. Because the truth is, success is not about where you come from. It's about the habits you choose to build. The difference between those who struggle and those who thrive, it's not intelligence, luck, or background. It's discipline, perspective, and action. So get ready to challenge everything you thought you knew about money and success. The lessons you're about to hear are not just theories. They are battle-tested insights from one of the most resilient and visionary entrepreneurs in the world. Because at the end of the day, the question isn't, will you be successful? The real question is, are you willing to break the habits that are holding you back? Now that you know the 8 financial habits that are holding you back, the question is, what will you do next? Will you keep making the same mistakes, chasing money instead of value, waiting for the perfect opportunity, and fearing failure? Or will you finally take control, change your mindset, and start building real success? The difference between successful people and those who struggle isn't luck, it's action. Most people will watch this, feel inspired for a few minutes, and then go back to their old habits. But the few who actually apply these lessons, they're the ones who will transform their future. So tell me, which habit spoke to you the most? Which one have you been guilty of? And what are you going to do differently starting today? Leave a comment below, and let's talk about it. Because the first step to change is awareness, and the second step is action. And remember, this video won't always show up in your feed. If you don't subscribe now, you might never find this channel again. So hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because every week, we're bringing you game-changing insights that will push you closer to success. Finally, don't stop here. Keep learning. Watch Jack Ma's time management and prioritization tips. Next, to take your mindset and financial success even further. Because your journey is just beginning.